Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk about the fact that sometimes attractive and confident men reveal dangerous characteristics in people. Jealousy, threaten, envy, things of that sort where people are threatened by you and they're uncomfortable with you. This actually can happen with women as well. And so if you are a lady and you're watching this, these points will fit you as well, some of them, because some of the research is for both genders. And we're going to unpack the research in this video. And there's a lot of research behind a lot of this, but a little bit more curated to men. There is a deep psychological phenomenon where aggression is selective, and men who are targeted for this type of aggression tend to appear dominant, and they are able to take another male's mate. So this is kind of like, it's a viable competition, okay? And the reason why this occurs is because from an evolutionary and psychology perspective, historically, men competed over other men for status, resources, and access to mates. So the pressure of these psychological mechanisms is what makes other men think and feel about potential threats, especially what some might call high status ones. I know a lot of people use the word high status in a very different way, but we are simply talking about, from a research perspective, high status from literally a psychological and evolutionary perspective. So you might be more dominant due to certain things, you have more resources, and you might be able to take their mate. Not that you would, but this is the things that they feel. And so this is the fundamental of this. The first one is that they isolate you. Okay, so this is an evolutionary strategy to isolate you from taking their mate or their resources. It's a pretty basic strategy. The research was published in 2019, but there is plenty of research prior to this. This one is so fundamental, and it does show that men who feel threatened by other men, they are afraid the particular man will outcompete them physically or socially. Socially is really important. We'll stop on that in a little bit. But this means that you don't have to do anything to receive this treatment. Men assess other men based on your perceived physical strength, your trait dominance. Trait dominance is important as well. Your baseline and reactive testosterone. And they survey these potential competitors. But I want to talk a little bit about social dominance, okay? Not just from a evolutionary standpoint, but from a social psychology standpoint, okay? There is something that does happen in most cultures from years ago, not really currently anymore, but most cultures started to where, like groups and tribes, for example, the more dominant man, him and his wife and his children, his family, got more resources because he was more socially dominant. He had more connections. Maybe he was the tribe leader. So the medical necessities or medical resources that they have is limited, actually. And he and his family usually gets it first. And so most likely, as you can imagine, most women want to be with that man because her children will have those resources. And so social dominance is very deeply ingrained in our perspective, biology, evolutionary psychology, and social psychology, how humans evolve. But not just that, fundamentally how we find attraction towards one another as well as threats towards one another. And so if you are more socially competent, which just means that you are more comfortable in social settings to some extent, other men will find you threatening. Even if you're not really talking, if you're just comfortable in social settings, if you're able to speak up for yourself, those things might mean that you have more access to resources, even if it's not in the literal sense any longer. The next one is that they will put you down. So this is the part that gets unfortunate. It's much more manipulative. A lot of these can be manipulative, but this one is actually, it can be very harmful because it's highly selective. Research in 2014, and this is both genders, but it's a little more common with men for this particular reason. Men become literally aggressive towards their competitors, and it's not random. It's highly selective. Women do this as well. We've seen it with both. Research shows there's two categories towards this aggression, okay? These targeted aggression. The first one is a dominant male, where he's some sort of high status rival, okay? So you have more than him, for lack of better terms. The next one is a single available man. So if you've ever seen this where men are, maybe you're not doing anything. You could be just sitting down somewhere and a man is like keeping his girlfriend like much closer to him when he's just walking by you and she's not even doing anything. But he can see that you're available. You're not doing anything. She's not doing anything. He's just feeling a type of way. It's biological. It's not really something that, it's not your fault. It's not really his fault, but it happens. And the research does interpret these behaviors as this, okay? It is a strategic behavior, but manipulative people can be very extreme about this, okay? It's aimed to increase one's own status while also undermining your status. And so this is where the putting down parts comes in, okay? Not every male does this, right? You guys, you probably won't put somebody down if they might have more than you. A lot of men don't do this. But people who are more manipulative, they have lower self-esteem. Instead of increasing themselves or understanding that some men just will have more in certain areas, they are trying to, manipulate the playing field to some extent. And so he might put you down. He might lie about things that you've done, even though you didn't. He might say embarrassing things about you that's maybe not real or exaggerated in front of like a woman just so that she picks him. It's very unhealthy, but it can be threatening if it becomes severe. For example, if it's a career situation where they're saying negative things about you just so you don't get on a project, so they can get that project, so you don't get the promotion. And this is what I mean by it can get pretty dangerous. Okay, the next one is they act hostile towards you when you are talking to their mate, their girlfriend, their wife, whoever it is. So the same research in 2014 shows that men were experimentally primed, okay? So they were to think about their particular wife or partner, and they're thinking about, like they were, how do I even put this? The experiment was that they were basically, in a situation where they will be thinking about their partner and then another male might show up in the scene or another man was available, and that male would be aggressive towards particular men who they determined as mating rivals. And so it's not random men. That's the main point of this. It's not random behavior. And so if this is happening to you, just be mindful. I'm sure you guys can handle yourself, and I can completely respect that, but it's just something to keep in mind because this does happen a lot. The next one is they talk loudly over you, or they interrupt you. Research in 2017 shows that men respond to, we're going to call it like gender role discrepancy, okay? But it's really just that they feel like maybe you're more dominant than they are. Let's put it like that. And they're trying to restore their status. So they're talking over you and trying to interrupt you so they can put you down, but also try and restore their status. That's really where this behavior is coming from, okay? The next one is they might be more hypervigilant around you. Again, this is the similar gender role discrepancy. This one is 2015, this research. And basically all they're feeling uncomfortable and more aware around you. Now, they might not do anything about this. And so if they're not doing anything about it, it's not necessarily dangerous. But if it's to the point where they're behaving inappropriately, like they're threatening you, they're messaging you, hey, stop talking to my girlfriend, and you're just like asking for, like maybe she's your coworker and you're asking for when the next meeting is, and this weird person or this strange, I shouldn't say weird, but this aggressive guy is texting you saying, stop texting my girlfriend, and you are confused because you're not trying to do anything. He's very hypervigilant. He's angry, but he's also showing aggressive. So just be aggression. So be careful of that. The next one is they copy you. They mimic you. They try to look like you, dress like you, behave like you, talk like you. This is, I guess, flattering, but it is a little, it's strange because it means their identity is not necessarily theirs. They're trying to have your identity, and it can be uncomfortable because if they're trying to copy you when you're doing something like work related, they might take credit for some things you do, and that is not healthy, and that's not a good situation. The next one is they try to one-up you. If you're doing something, they try to do it better. And then the last one is the one that is not as common, but it does happen, and I think this is one of the ones that you need to be really careful about. They may confront you about things you didn't do or accuse you of things you didn't do. One, because like we've mentioned, they're hypervigilant based on research in 2015, and so they might actually believe it, or they're trying to offhand something they did onto you so that you look less than, or they're trying to make you look worse so that women or resources or whatever it is do not come towards you. They are hopefully going towards them. That's their hope. And so this is very real. This is very real. Men and women who are in certain positions do experience this, and it's something to be mindful of, because if you're not mindful of it, they will end up resulting in what they want. They will get you fired. They will, I don't know, turn people against you. They will turn your family against you. I don't know what they're planning to do, but being aware of it is the first step to stopping it. So I hope this video is helpful to somebody. The research is in the description box. If you want a consulting call with me or if you want to join our community, that is pinned in the comments. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.